Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video early in the morning. So the Boo Birds are chirping, man. Obviously, as it pertains to Russell Westbrook's turnovers, as we knew they were going to talk about it, they're starting. And as I said last night, I tried to, in the video, reacting to everything. I tried to put as much of an emphasis on everything else before getting to Russell Westbrook because I understand, fully understand that he has a lot of adjustments to make, as well as some natural habits that are just going to lend itself to this as well. So it's like a double down on some of the weaknesses that he has simply because he's in a very new environment, in a very awkward fit, um, playing for his hometown team, coming back home to LA, and everything that comes with that. As an LA native, I understand. And he's also putting on a Laker uniform doing it. It's not. This is not a Clipper uniform he's wearing. The pressure on great players to play great in this uniform is immense. And while great players are used to stress, this is stress for those who are used to stress. Um, you know what I mean? Like this is their stress. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand. Once you live long enough to see different perspectives of things, and kind of get an understanding of what pressure is just in general, and that's exactly what I understand. Yeah, for a guy like, for example, LeBron James, he's been running around from Miami to Cleveland winning championships. Of course, he's seen it all and done it all. But for him, the pinnacle of taking on the pressure that can be provided is putting on a Laker uniform and living in the shadow of all those great players. Same goes for every great player that puts on this uniform. You have to understand that no matter how great you are, if you put on that uniform, you are expected to be great. It's not just people reacting to your greatness, they're demanding it. And it's a pressure that you can't duplicate anywhere else in sports, I don't believe. Maybe putting on a Yankee uniform or something. I don't think so though. When you put on a Laker uniform, we win championships by habit. And I want people to understand what I'm saying so that you'll see what I mean by the pressure. It's like we don't care that you're Kobe Bryant. We don't care that you're Magic Johnson. We don't care that you're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We don't care that you're Karl Malone, LeBron James, Gary Payton, Pau Gasol. The name's going forever. We don't care who you are, bro. James Worthy. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? Shaq. We don't care. If you don't win, it's like you're just another guy, dude. And that's what happens here when you come to Los Angeles. You are literally going to be laughed out of the room for even thinking that you're greater than the Lakers. As a brand, LeBron James, when he goes anywhere, he's the guy. When he comes to the Lakers, he's merged. It's like merging his brand. It's like a company merging. We're still who we are. He's still who he is, but we stand alone, and it ain't nothing. You know what I mean? As to where if he goes to Cleveland, he's bringing forth a great deal of revenue and everything to the city and to the franchise. He means everything, and now he dictates terms. As to where he comes here, it's like, well, if he dictates terms, it's because we see it in our best interest. You know what I mean? To collaborate with him to make this happen. It's like you know what I mean? It's different, man, because we have such prestige. We've had everybody and their grandma playing great wearing this uniform. 4 out of 5 greatest players that ever played a game have worn this uniform. It's like, what are you gonna do as it pertains to coming in here, putting on a uniform, and making your own legacy in this thing? And it's like Russell Westbrook understands that. Russell Westbrook is feeling that to some degree, and his job is the hardest of it all because not only does he not fit, but he's now being asked to facilitate the ball and make those other great players better. And so I think he's feeling all of that, and that's why I'm trying to ease up off of him, because if you want somebody to succeed, you know what I mean, you got to put out the right energy, and I want to see him succeed. So this is why I'm issuing this particular video out and challenging him this way. Quality possessions. It's all about quality possessions. As a fan of the game, I don't know the game like you guys who really play it, but I do know it as a fan who watches each and every possession and knows the importance of taking very, 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 very good care of the basketball. And I just think that the Lakers as a whole, not only Russell Westbrook, but also to LeBron James as well, because he's another ball handler, Rajon as well. We just have to really understand that if we're going to make this thing work, it's all about quality possessions. Um, Foregoing certain shots mean that you're holding your teammate down by not hurting them, not forcing cross court passes and bad lobs into the paint, just because it's by nature for you to do. When you forego those things and you fight yourself in discipline against doing certain things that come naturally that don't help you, you have your fans back. You have Laker Nation's back. You are holding us down by disciplining yourself to maybe not do some of those things that just come so naturally to you. I'm not saying this is something that a person's supposed to be able to do overnight, but I think over the course of 4 years, I want to see Russell Westbrook take on the challenge of being an old dog looking to learn new tricks. He's done some things for a very long time that hurt his team in terms of how he approaches certain basketball plays and attempts certain things that I think with certain concentration and discipline, he can wind off of doing, no different than any other bad habit that a person does. I think it gets to a point, though, when you're this age and this far into the game, you have to have a deep desire to change certain things about yourself that don't necessarily help your team. No different than a person making decisions outside of basketball, outside of life, that are hard to do, that they've been doing for a long time, that ultimately don't bring them the results that they're looking for. I think Russell Westbrook has been fighting hard and giving his all to this game. And I think he wants to play it well. And I think what he's done has gotten him this far. But I look at some of how he play makes sort of like I looked at Lonzo Ball's shot before he changed it. I respect that you've done these reps a trillion times and they've gotten you this far. But if you want to take it to the next level, you got to teach yourself a new trick. And while Lonzo Ball is a very young player and Russell Westbrook's an older guy, I look at it like I have hope for us older guys who are determined to change our old ways, whether it be in basketball and in life, because I have some old ways I need to change. So if I'm to make sense of how to go about making those changes, I have to have hope that maybe someone else who's older in a different field of a different walk of life, who's several years younger than me, can maybe change some of his old ways as well. Maybe that would help me. Seeing him be able to do that, maybe that would inspire me to be able to do some changes in my own life. I'm not trying to make it too deep, but what I'm saying is teaching an old dog new tricks, that's a concept they say is impossible. I'm here to tell you that I'm going to try to learn a new trick about making some differences in my life and making some changes, doing some things differently, holding on to the ball a little better, taking every possession a bit more seriously. You know what I mean? Even though I've gotten this far, making plays this way, at 37 years of age, I realize it's time to change my shot. Do you understand what I'm saying? Parallel, so that I can take it upon myself, so that you understand I'm not just issuing Russell Westbrook a challenge to play basketball better. I'm issuing him a challenge to show us old dogs that a new trick can be done. What I'm asking him to do, honestly, is just to stop making some of those passes and some of those forced passes that he's trying to make. It comes so easy for him because he's been playing at this pace for so long. You become who it is you are, and I'm a guy who goes at full speed and I turn the ball over, and it's just going to happen, and that's cool. But what I see is some technical things that Russell Westbrook can do in terms of positioning himself, maybe changing how he does certain things that I don't understand how to change or how to advise him better. But I watch other players make plays and not make some of these decisions that he makes, and it results in better results. And I think with all the scrutiny that he's been getting for so many years, I think the one thing that's eluded him, and I say this respectfully, is the coaching. to teach him how to do some of those things differently, to sit him down and show him what it is that he's doing, and to issue these challenges from a perspective of, I think you can help all of us trust you if you start being intentional on doing these particular technical things differently. And over time, with patience, we think you can make those changes. I think and don't give him any time limit on how long it has to take. Just be intentional on showing him each and every time exactly on film what he did again and again and again and again. And if he continues to make those mistakes while you continue to show it to him, eventually, everyone starts to understand what it is they're doing differently and to start being intentional and changing their mind about making those decisions. And that's what it's going to require. No different than Ben Simmons finally coming around to shooting the basketball. It's always comes down to just having intent and wanting to do it, wanting the results that you're not getting to finally come your way. I have no doubt Russell Westbrook is tired of people saying he's a liability shooting the three. So take a step in. Get off the 3-point line, shoot more mid-range jumpers. That side mid-range jumper that he banks in, he's been hitting that shot at a high percentage for a very long time for OKC. I've watched him do it. He needs to take more mid-range jumpers. Those outside 3-point shots, it's okay to take a step in. It's literally okay to take a step in. I'm watching players like Monte Morris, DeMar DeRozan, all these guys, including yourself, Russell Westbrook. You make a living at the mid-range, but maybe the 3-point ain't for you. If it takes possessions away from us and we can't rebound it, you're hurting your team. And what I'm starting to notice, and this is probably not helpful, but it's just something I'm seeing, is guys are starting to lose confidence in Russell Westbrook on the floor. And I'm not going to name any names, but it was a specific play that I noticed. That player hesitated by a millisecond in giving the ball to Russell Westbrook because, to me, it appeared he was concerned about the decision Russell would make when he gave him the ball. But those little hesitation moments, those glitches, those split seconds where the hesitation takes place, that messes up the rhythm of the play, that messes up the flow of the play, and that ultimately can turn into a turnover. And that's nearly what that play did. It didn't turn into a turnover in one of my case I'm saying, but it almost did. Because that hesitation literally messes up the rhythm. And rhythm is what they make basketball plays work. So what I'm telling you is, you can't have situations where you're doing the old tricks and you're making it so that your teammates now have a tick, so to speak, about passing you the rock. You understand what I'm saying? When I say a tick, I mean a hesitation, like a kind of scared about doing this, like I don't know if I should, and they're reacting to that thought as opposed to what it is that's happening on the floor. You're giving your teammates a complex, brother. You got to change your ways. And I say that in constructively, very, very constructively, because I have so much respect for our team and what these players have accomplished in their careers. But I just think some of them haven't literally been taught, whether it be because their coaches were scared to approach them because they were superstars, or because of just a combination of things that just haven't been able to click. But as it pertains to Russell Westbrook, his playmaking, he needs to start from scratch. He needs to start from scratch. You got to go from the basics. You got to understand rhythm and all of those things all over again. And if he becomes intentional with getting with people like Phil Handy and different coaches who can help him with his playmaking and slowing down his mind, slowing down how he perceives others' movements and how they're running, so that he can synchronize with them a bit better. If he can figure that out, his best games are ahead of him. But as long as those are deficiencies for him, the conversations we're having about him making bad decisions and appearing to be basketball IQ deficient are going to continue. I do not believe Russell Westbrook's basketball IQ is deficient. I just feel like he has a very poor sense of the things that I just described. How others are moving, how their rhythm is supposed to go with his rhythm in order to make plays make sense. He just doesn't appear to have the greatest feel for those things overall. Now, he does have that feel with the big man. He has a connection with the big man. But other players, it just seems like he's moving too fast. I used to say that about my mother too. I used to say that about my mom in a very different way. She was a great friend to people. She loved people. She always had a great sense of being a wonderful woman. So I'm not saying anything less, but when we would be walking with friends, she would tend to just walk faster than everybody else, and she would literally leave the pack. And it would always be like, "Mom, you don't want to walk with us?" And it's like, no, but she just didn't have any sense of how to walk with others. It was like you're supposed to keep up with her, and a lot of times it made people feel uncomfortable because it's almost like she didn't want to be with him. So I used to tell her, I pulled her to the side a couple times and say, "Mom, don't walk away from the pack. Stay with us." She's like, "Oh, I didn't even know," and she never knows. I get it, the feeling that Russell Westbrook has some version of that going on, and it's affecting how he play makes. It's affecting how he gets the ball to others. It's affecting how he's able to slow down and perceive everything around him. So while it's good because he's able to manipulate that reality by being faster than that reality, being faster than everyone around him, he's able to make plays, right? He's able to double down on the ability to do those things because he's moving twice as fast. Where it appears he's having trouble, he's slowing it down. So that's what he's going to need help with. I don't know how to do that. I got a couple ideas, but I'm no professional. It has something to do with breathing techniques and meditation and slowing down and watching movements in slow motion. But he needs to do those type of practices so he can get certain things to be a bit more aligned, I guess, with how he's moving. And if he takes on the challenge of figuring that out, however to figure that out, yeah, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. And I mention all that coaching stuff only because he has it now. And in respects to Frank Vogel, no. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Rajon Rondo. You understand what I'm saying? These are the people that he needs to be getting close to sit down with and respect their criticism of what it is that he's doing out there, and then to be deliberate in making those changes. Carmelo Anthony, those are the guys. Dwight Howard. The other guys in his peer group are going to have to help him learn this new trick and help him overcome what it is that's ultimately plagued his entire career. And look, for me, I'm not telling him what should motivate him, but I'm telling you what would motivate me. I can't be that guy that I'm perceived to be when KD left me forever. I can't be that. The guy that you can't win with because I can't figure all this stuff out I've been saying for the last 16 minutes. No. I'm ending my career on a high note. I don't care if I gotta do what I gotta do. It has to be that we won as a Laker. And I think the only way the Lakers are gonna win is if he's not costing us basketball games. And I think we have a very, very good sample size at this point of film to study, to understand that he is affecting basketball games negatively. In fact, he destroyed that basketball game for us yesterday. Whether it was because he was doing things he was asked to do or not, he destroyed it. And that's a good thing because it'll allow us that film. So, it is what it is, man. 26-point lead, coughed up on the road against a horrible basketball team. That's not something that you just sit and say, well, I'm just me, and that's that. No, you're in a Laker uniform, and that's a record. That's a feat that's going to go down in history. So no, if ever there was a motivation in your career to take a look at some things, yesterday's game won't be forgotten, brother. It won't be forgotten. That's going to go down as a bad mark on your career and a bad mark in Laker history. And so I'm issuing this challenge to take from that all that I've said and give it some prayer is what I would say if Russell was in front of me. Just give it some prayer, because I think teaching old dogs new tricks is something that nobody believes can be done. But if Russell Westbrook can learn what it is that I just said he needs to figure out, or whatever really actually needs to be figured out, because I'm not a basketball mind, if he can figure out the things that he's doing wrong and do them differently in his Laker tenure over the next 3-4 years, because it's going to take time, trust. It's going to take time. But if he can do that, I think he'll be very happy with how his career ends. But right now, I just hope that the Lakers give him the rope to do it, because right now I'm sure there's some people thinking, man, that contract is serious, bro. If we can get a chance to get up out from under it, yeah, there'd be a great deal of GMs in Rob Pelinka's position questioning whether or not they want to hold on to that thing after yesterday. But I'm not. We brought him in because LeBron James wants to win with him. deliberately wants to win with him. He wants to prove to everybody that he can do what KD couldn't. It's a deliberate challenge that LeBron is taking on, and it gives Russell Westbrook an opportunity to win a championship in his hometown. So, no, I don't want to get rid of him. I want him to play this championship, this era out, rather, play this contract out, and see what we can get out of it, because I want to see him overcome, you know? I want to see him win. He's not what we say he is, as far as somebody who just can't play ball, he's stupid, all this dumb stuff they about to say. He's not that. He's just got some deficiencies that make him not the guy that you want playmaking in the half court. But he can change that, and I hope that he does. So yeah, man, my name is BDF44. That's what I got. I'm looking forward to the Lakers. We got another game. Burn the tape. But gain motivation from those memories, those nightmares of getting ran out of the gym by a bad team. A bad team who had been struggling, mind you. The emphasis is OKC had been struggling in that game. They were down 26. They were down in that game struggling. And we gave them life. So whatever good things they do from here, it's going to be because they beat the Lakers. Not acceptable. BDF44.